Good morning, everybody. Jody Brozick of Winter Warriors Live here with head coach Dan Aaker of your Winter Warriors. Homecoming week here in winter. But before we get to homecoming, let's go ahead and take a look at the previous week. Let's go back and review the Valentine Badgers game. Very close game, 26-20, that resulted in your 12th straight win against the Badgers. Give people your feedback from that game, Dan.
Well, I think we talked last week about we were concerned about matching their intensity at the beginning of the game, and I don't think we did. No matter how you try to prepare, I think, young men of that atmosphere until they maybe truly experience it, don't know. And never been on a 11-game lose streak. None of these kids have been on that way. And Valentine's a tough place to go play anytime. When you add the fact that we beat them and they're a rival, they're a true rival, 11 straight times, they are going to do everything in their power, fight you tooth and nail to stop that streak. Mm-hmm. And we do the intensity, and I mean, coaches, we knew it. We tried to prepare our guys. I thought we'd come out a little flat, but not terribly flat. We didn't put ourselves in a situation where we were really in trouble. So we responded after their first score, I think. But I thought we did a nice job. I thought the score right before half was big, because it gave us a little momentum, knowing we were going to get the ball in the second half. And there was just some things that they were doing that I thought schematically we could make some subtle adjustments, especially with our wing backs and how we were blocking the edge, that we could maybe expose. And they really executed the first two drives of the third quarter. And then Valentine made another kind of defensive adjustment, and we were kind of trying to figure that out the rest of the way. We had two big times where I thought we could have put the game, you never say away, but we could have put it in full control. But we have two huge penalties that put us in bad down distance after a turnover inside their 25. We go up by 3 scores if we score there, and we're moving the ball well enough. I think we can do it. And then I make a critical mistake as well on another drive, and we take a delay of game when we're trying to get him to jump off sides, and I saw the official go up with a 5 count, and for whatever reason I froze. I should have called timeout because I think we could have scored on that drive too. So both of those key penalties stalled drives. Credit Valentine, they make a nice long drive in the fourth quarter, and now we're on. It's a touchdown game. Now we make another nice drive and end up fumbling, and they get the ball back with a little over a minute and a half to go, and we're just kind of holding on. But with all that being said, it is a big win. I mean, I don't think we played that good. We had way too many penalties to turn the ball over 3 times. But going to Valentine, playing a team that you beat 11 straight times, that's that hungry and willing to do anything, it's a nice win to come out of there. And it's always better to learn those lessons, I think, with a win than a loss. And I think we all know that we could play better and wish we would have. But we showed some guts, we showed some toughness, and played 48 minutes, which is probably the most important thing. We hadn't played a 48-minute game yet, and we needed to play one and show that we could do it. And so overall, it was a nice win to get out of Valentine, and we didn't. I don't know if I'd say we took a step forward, but we certainly didn't take a step back, and we played a solid game.
It's always good to survive a trap game.
Yeah, and that was never brought up, and I don't really, that's something you always say, that people will say a trap game between who and whatever, but good teams don't get trapped. They don't. They understand that you're playing the opponent in front of you and be ready. And the other thing we talked about in a pregame interview last week too was we hadn't been very good on the road, and we needed to show that we could get off the bus and play some football, and I thought we did that. We still we can play better, but our last 2 road trips haven't been very good for the Warriors, so it was good to see that as well.
Well, this is homecoming week. Before we jump to our opponent, you've had several homecomings here in winter. What's your most memorable homecoming game that's been played here at Warrior Field?
2 jump to mind. One's a win, one's a loss. This would be my 17th homecoming in the 16 previous. We've only lost twice on homecoming. One to West Central when they were really good, my 3rd year here, I think. And then to Parkston when the team they won the state championship. And that was a 1 versus 2 in the ratings. Great atmosphere, great game. I mean, West of Oric was just too much for us that night. That one sticks out as a loss. The one that sticks out, probably the biggest for a win, Eric Sheets must have been 2008, because Eric would have been a junior. I think that was, no, I think, yes, yeah, it was 2008. St. Thomas More here. He breaks a long run late to take the lead. And that one was back and forth, and I think that might have been the first time we got St. Thomas More and then went on the win streak against them. We played them later in the playoffs and got them pretty good, but that was another crazy environment. That's the one thing I like about homecoming in winter. I don't like, you ask any football coach, you like homecoming, most of us know. But here it is special because the alumni that truly come back, and we talk about our kids about all the time, it's almost always a playoff atmosphere, and then when you play a good opponent, which tonight we have a really good opponent, it helps with the focus for the week, and I think that's important because we want our guys to go out and do all that stuff that goes with it, but at 3:30 every night, it's got to be getting better and ready for the team you're going to play, and when you play teams like St. Thomas More, Parkston, MVP, it helps with that in your preparation. So we embrace the homecoming part of it. I'd still like to move with basketball, but I haven't been able to do that. So,
So let's go ahead and take a look at MVP tonight. Jesse Hastings and the Titans come to town. When people talk MVP, it's Jesse Hastings. Let's give people a little better perspective of the Titans. More well-rounded than people give them credit for.
They're a good football team, and I think we knew as a coaching staff that they would be a top-tier team coming in. They just moved up to 11-man last year, and their first game was against Stanley County, and Stanley County beat them, who we later handled, And when we got to Mount Vernon Plankinton last year, that week we were coming off, in my opinion, 2 huge wins at West Central and then a really good Valentine team here. And I think we overlooked them, and maybe relaxed a little bit after those 2 wins, and that includes coaches. We were kind of looking at that Stanley County loss, and and they gave us everything we wanted. It's very similar to what happened Friday night in Valentine. We had times to put that game away at Mount Vernon Plankinton. We never did, and we're holding on the last couple plays of the game to get out of there. They really got a lot better as the year went on, and they were a top 4 or 5 team at the end of the year. They had Woonsocket on the ropes. Woonsocket scored much like they did against us in the last minute to beat them in the first round of the playoffs and return a lot of people. So going into this year, we knew they were going to be pretty good. They're 5-0. They haven't been tested at all. They've won every game by 35, and I don't think their starters have seen much of the second half. Their schedule has not been that tough, and they'll be the first probably to admit that. But good teams do that to lesser opponents, and they did that. They've handled the opponents they've had. So they're a well-rounded team. They like to option. They like to run the ball. There's some double wing. There's some eye. They'll do some stuff out of spread. And Jesse Hastings is one of their big threats. You don't see a lot of 6-foot, 230-pounder kids with his speed. I mean, the only kid on our team that's faster than him is Brady Fritz. That's the only one. He's that fast. I think in the conference track meet last year he got 3rd. Probably could have placed in the 100. I mean, he's that fast. So when you have a 230-pound kid that can run that fast, he's a concern. I think a big thing trying to focus on him is not let him get going. He's not a real start-stop type guy, but once he's started and going, he'll run you over, run through you, and run by you all in the same time. So we got to keep him from really getting loose, and that starts with being in the right position, tackling low, and probably most importantly, get 11 guys to the ball because he can break tackles. He's not the only one. Hack's returning a quarterback, a really good option quarterback. The Tobin brothers, I think they're brothers, but I'm assuming, at running back, and the one at fullbacks impressed me a lot. They'll give the fullback the ball a lot on dive and trap, and he's a big kid too. He's close to 200 pounds and runs hard. So we got to really tackle well defensively, and ultimately nothing's going to matter unless we can play well up front. And they're good sized up front. We struggled a little bit with them last year, I thought, especially on our tackles. So line of scrimmage is going to be critical. And then defensively, they swarm the ball. They'll run a 3-5. It looks, in our mind, we treat it as a 5-3 because they're really aggressive outside backers. And schematically, when I thought we had a really good week preparing, I think there's things that we can do. But putting it on the whiteboard and saying this is what we can do and doing it on the football field are 2 different things. Man, oh man, we're going to have to beat them in certain spots. So I think it sets up for a great game. 2 teams like to keep it on the ground. possessions will be huge. You're going to have to take advantage of possessions because I don't know if teams are going to get that many of them, and you hope that you create a few extra with some turnovers, which we got 3 last week, but we also gave it up 3 times, so we can't help them out. But overall, there's a reason they're 5-0 and they did what they did to their opponents.
Sticking with the coaching theme, obviously this is a big one for your staff versus their staff, Brent, Sam, Trent. What's the week been like for the brothers getting ready for their brother coming to town?
Yeah, I don't know if there's probably been a little side talk, and maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they're just quiet until after the game. I think Sam and Brent probably talk about more than Trent and Brent do, but we haven't really talked about that. People make jokes about it being the OLSON Bowl, but don't kid yourself. There's some pride in that, family pride, and when you're going head to head. I'm not part of that family, so to me it's not where it's just like we always are. But yeah, I mean, I think that it'll make interesting Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners, however this turns out tonight.
It'll either be 1-1 or 2-0 for somebody's favor.
Yeah, yeah.
Last question before we wrap up. Last night at homecoming, great presentation about the history of winter football. You recognizing the tradition of the past. I had a question coming in. There have been some great football movies. The Replacements, Remember the Titans. Which coach in movie lore do you most try to emulate or think you emulate?
Oh, yeah. I watch them all. The Replacements is probably the one I throw in just because it's got some funny parts there. But Friday Night Lights is one I like to watch all the time too. And I think people watch it the first time surprise them because they don't actually win it. But we'll watch one today actually. So we do that as our tradition. I know where the guys are at. For the 17 years I've been here, we bring them back after the parade and we watch a movie, and that's kind of our pregame. So I'm not going to give out right now what we're watching today.
Sure.
But it's worked really well for us, and it's like a road game almost. We have all the guys together, and I know where they're at, and we're getting ready to play a good football game. So probably didn't answer your question, but there's some good ones out there that I like.
I see you as the Herman Boone. We will not quit. We will not surrender.
Yeah, that's another good one. Remember the Titans? That's a good one too. So yeah.
Good luck tonight, Dan.
All right, thanks.